Over to Scotty for closing comments.
First, I'll say I think you're right. If John McCain had been elected, we'd still be moving in the same direction, but it would be so slow that people wouldn't pay attention. Obama thought he saw the finish line and he made a dash for it, and that's what started to wake people up. Folks, there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees. I grew up thinking that we have these rights as Americans, and they're going to be safe because we're going to be protected by our government. You know, when they take the oath, when various officers take the oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, the biggest threats to the Constitution we have are in the House and the Senate and the Oval Office.
And the Supreme Court.
And the Supreme Court. And one of the things that's happened, and I think all of us have had this question, maybe we're past it, some of us, but I think most Americans are looking at all this stuff happening and saying, why doesn't somebody do something?
Yeah.
Look, this is clearly unconstitutional. Why doesn't somebody do something? Well, who's somebody? The only group that's going to protect state rights is the states. The only group that's going to protect individual rights is the people. If we're waiting to elect a Congress that we finally get it right and we'll get the right mix of people that are going to protect these rights for us, we're going to be waiting forever. What you read, probably the most famous words in the history of our nation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the government. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these rights, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. We have altering and abolishing to do, folks. Yeah. We do. If we keep sitting around waiting for somebody to save us, you know, if America ever quits being America, don't blame Barack Obama. Yeah. Don't blame Congress. We all need to go home and look in the mirror. Yeah. As a free people, protecting our freedom lies with us. And one thing that's true in America, sometimes unfortunately, but I really believe it, the quality of government we have is exactly what we deserve. Yeah.
Amen. I hear a lot of, we've got to do something, and that's a statement that comes from desperation and frustration, and I understand it. To quote a former governor, I feel your pain. So you know, I'm there too. But you know, when you've got a bomb that you've got to defuse, and you've got to figure out whether to clip the red wire or the blue wire or the green wire, or you know, maybe none at all. Maybe there's a switch, you know, somewhere else. Just doing something can make the whole thing blow up sometimes. And so I want to caution you about that. So the ones that would say we've got to do something. We can pass all of the amendments. We can propose all of the Mount Vernon Assembly can propose all of these rules for the Constitution that or for the convention that they want to. We can propose. We can come up with an airtight set of amendments to pass, and we can get them all passed, and the Supreme Court can wink at them. We don't have the folks there that are the right folks to be there. How long does it take to replace the Supreme Court? It takes generations to replace the Supreme Court.
Before or after the convention
starts? So the Supreme Court, as it stands, is going to have to referee if there's any disagreement between the convention and Congress, and there's, except for I think the balanced budget amendment one, the Compact for America specifies that the certain district court or a federal circuit court or whatever is going to have the jurisdiction. It's the courts that are going to have to be the referee. Do we have enough faith in our judicial system as it is that they're not going to mess that up? Okay, so we've got a situation right now where Congress, by 2/3 majority, can pass amendments and then refer them to the states for ratification. This, they got to do it one at a time, you know, and they got to get everybody on board with 2/3. This would allow for the proposal of a whole lot of amendments, and we don't even know what they're going to be yet. And you know, it could amend, you know, an amendment to the Constitution by definition can end or change any part of the Constitution. And so, you know, it worries me. It worries me that we could get into that convention and Congress can, you know, if a court says that Congress can give the convention or can set the rules for who the delegates can be and all that at the convention, that's worrisome to me. You say, well, we've got a Republican majority in the Senate and we've got a Republican majority in the House. Guess what? Republican is not a synonym for conservative.
No, we know that. We found that out.
And so there are a lot of people that have that label by their names that do not understand what conservatism means. That they don't understand what liberty means. And so, you know, we can't rest in that. We may think that this is because of that this is our chance to get this done, to have a Article 5 convention. But I just want to caution you, not, you know, you want to say that my arguments come from fear? Yeah, I'm afraid. I'm afraid also of, you know, the current state of affairs, what's going to happen. I read a headline that there was a group of people. Now, I'm not a secession advocate, so don't think this about me. But there was a group in Texas of secessionists that were just meeting. They were just talking. They got raided by the federal government. They had their cell phones taken away. They had, you know, a lot of information taken from them. So, you know, when we live in an environment like that, I kind of agree with you. I think it's going to come to a head at some point. Now, again, let me say, for the record, I'm not a secession advocate, but I respect the right of folks. If they want to get together and talk about it, they should be able to do so. But you know, making another rule for a group of scoundrels is not going to make them behave well. There's still going to be scoundrels. The Supreme Court will still wink at whatever kind of airtight amendment you think that this thing can pass. So I want to leave you with that and turn it back over, I guess.
Thank you so much, both. Thank you both. You know, I look around the room and I want to say, I do want to say something to the group, and that is that both of these gentlemen have told us that we need to be active. This group is active. I hope you all understand how good we are. This Tuesday, there was a city council meeting, and today at lunch I asked people to raise their hand and tell me who was there. A lot of you who come at night don't get to see all of us all the time and how active we are. But I don't think there were 10 people in the room who weren't at the city council meeting today at lunch. And we had 53 people at lunch today talking about what to do about our city council and our mayor and what's happened in this city. So we are active, and I want to applaud all of you, because you are the cream of the crop in my books. But we have refreshments, have coffee and water and whatever, and please, I know these guys may hang around a little while, you know, talk to them, see what they have to say. Oh, I know. Do we want to pass the bucket?
Yes, we do.
I guess this is the only way that we figure out what to do with money is have some to spend and try to keep the government at bay, is what we used to say. And so, you know, guys, if you want to belong to the Tea Party, if some of you did not